Milton Green and Marilyn Monroe. Maybe he loved her as no other man ever had. Neither of them said very much about their relationship. But one thing we can be sure of is that the first time they met, he photographed her like no one else ever had done, and she was immediately captivated by his vision of her. Milton would take thousands of photos of Marilyn, including some of the most beautiful. But he always refused, even after their ways had parted, to make any money from them. So it was that following a strange series of business transactions and inheritances, many of them remained here in Poland, unpublished and unused, until only last year. And the story they tell is astonishing. It's the story of a woman adulated and yet deeply sad. A woman who believed that by embracing one man's vision of her, she might escape her fate.
I just wanted to tell you something. I ain't the kind of girl you thought I was. At all. It's true.
May 23rd, 1957. It was over. Arm in arm with Arthur Miller, her third and last husband, Marilyn returned to Hollywood. 2 years earlier, she had fled the great movie studios which had turned her into a household name around the world. Now, here she was, stepping back into line. Yet, despite appearances, she had changed. The course of her life had been deeply affected by her spell in New York. Milton Green. Struck by his boyish looks the first time they were introduced, Marilyn exclaimed, "But you're just a kid." "So are you," he retorted. She was 27, he was barely 30. Hollywood, at around the time this story began. Marilyn was one of the biggest stars of the decade. She shot one film after another. The public worshipped her. But for all that, she was not fulfilled. She felt that Hollywood was determined to teach her nothing. All that mattered was churning out the product. Churning out her own words. She was cast in films without even being consulted, given roles that went against her express wishes. Each time she found herself playing the curvaceous blonde, when all she really wanted was to become a real actress.
These rocks don't lose their shape. Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
August 1953. Commissioned by the magazine Look, Milton Green arrived in Los Angeles. He was the photographer of the moment. He had photographed Marlene Dietrich, Lauren Bacall, Frank Sinatra. Now he had to photograph Marilyn Monroe, the hottest thing in Hollywood since Jean Harlow, according to 20th Century Fox. She was the girl most likely to thaw Alaska, gushed one journalist. The New York Herald Tribune wrote that she could set the night on fire. But from the start, Milton Green refused to treat Marilyn like a sex goddess. With disarming familiarity, he lent her his wife Amy's own red sweater for their first photo shoot.
Maybe we should get some tea from the room service. Do you think so, Rupert? I would. Tea and lemon. How about you?
Milton would later say that what first attracted him about Marilyn was her voice.
Just tea and lemon for me. No, how about you? Some sandwich?
I'd already seen so many models and actresses that I felt that nothing could impress me, but I'd never met anyone with such a tone of voice. Marilyn looked at the photos Milton had taken of her and said, "You've made me look interesting." Milton Green could leave Los Angeles feeling satisfied. He had succeeded in moving his subject. Marilyn was obsessed with a fear of not being good enough. Nothing could ever reassure her. No praise, no compliment, not even the eulogies of her directors, Henry Hathaway and Billy Wilder. She lived in dread of being appreciated only for her vampish looks.
Fine actress. A true actress, that's what I mean by fine. A real actress.
Why are people so obsessed by sex, she asked one day. To me, it's about as interesting as polishing shoes. But here, for probably the first time, Milton Green had captured something in her that had escaped other men. His photos revealed her to herself the way she wanted to be seen by others, with a certain reserve and an unfeigned gravity.
I would like to be happy, but who's happy?
Loose-fitting clothes, modest poses, a lack of provocation. At no point did Milton ask her to be sexy. This pleased her more than he could have imagined. Confronted with this attentive and respectful young photographer, Marilyn suddenly felt sure of her own worth. So it was with a very real pleasure that she later accepted the Look of the Year prize for their first photos together.
Thank you, Mrs. Sims. It's a great thrill, and I'm very appreciative to everyone who's made this possible.
He understood some things about me, and I understood some things about him.
On the 14th of January 1954, Marilyn married Joe DiMaggio. Joe was 39, an American baseball hero, retired 3 years previously, who now spent his time drinking beer in front of the television. He wouldn't take no for an answer, and Marilyn accepted. It was a marriage that made no sense. Such a man could never fulfill Marilyn's needs. She gave him a small medallion to attach to his watch, on which was engraved a phrase from Saint-Exupéry's Petit Prince. You can only see with the heart. The essential is invisible to the eyes. What the hell's that supposed to mean? Grunted Joe. In February, right in the middle of their honeymoon, Marilyn went to Korea to entertain the American troops there. In the United States, it was said that she received more than 20,000 letters a week from fans. Among the GIs, she was made aware of how incredibly popular she had become. For the first time in her life, she gave a live concert and was able to gauge the audience's reaction immediately. A dozen shows, 60,000 soldiers, and each time she made every soldier there feel that she was giving her undivided attention to him alone. Marilyn was happy, flattered, and dumbfounded. It's like they want to own you, possess pieces of you, she said. Was she thinking of Milton Green as she watched all those cameras zooming in on her, but not seeing her? So it would seem. They don't see me, she said. They see their own hidden thoughts, and then they whitewash themselves by claiming that I embody them. When she had met up with Milton the previous October, they had spent almost a month together.